Good morning and welcome to Local Omaha. My name is Ken Bartholomew and I'm here with
Kelsey Weedle.
Kelsey Weedle. We come each week and we're a small business local community boost podcast. We want to create awareness for the small businesses here in the Omaha local area and surrounding area, that type thing, as well as the different community events and happenings. And so, Kelsey, if you want to say good morning and a couple of things, then we'll introduce our guest for the day.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks for joining us today. We are so excited to be here. It is a beautiful day in Omaha, and like Ken said, we are just here to shine a light on kind of entrepreneurs, local business owners, people who are impacting the community and sharing their story, wisdom, experience with us. And so today we have Andrew Berscheid with us today.
Hello, guys.
Well,
Hi,
good morning.
thanks for
Thanks for
joining
coming out.
Thanks
us.
for having me.
All right,
Great to
so
have you.
tell us a little bit about you and your company and how you got started.
Yeah, for sure. Omaha, born and raised. I've been in the pool industry, so I own a pool company. Been in the pool industry since I was 18. Right outside of high school, I joined college, and in the summers, I decided I wanted to do a trade. I had this mindset that I wanted to do a different trade every summer, and then I'd gotten to pools, and then I just really enjoyed pools, so I went back to pools every summer, and then never did any other trade.
Nice.
And then graduated college, graduated with 4 degrees, and then I was like, do I
Wait a
want
minute. Wait a minute. You graduated what?
4 degrees?
4 degrees.
Yeah, I have commercial banking, investment portfolio science, financial management, and real estate and land use. And so the real estate
I didn't
thing
know
is,
that.
yeah, the real estate thing is my parents have rental property, so from an early age, I've been around like entrepreneurship. I remember working on my parents' rental houses and mowing when I was like 12 years old. And then before that, my mother had a sweets business. So during fairs, she'd have a booth selling candy and knickknacks and stuff. I remember working that when I was really, really
Oh,
young.
cool. So they
Yeah,
always had that
yeah,
entrepreneur.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And so graduated college, I debated on doing the corporate route or continue doing pools. I did one interview in the corporate arena, and I remember just like thinking, I went to it and I was like, this is not for me. It's not my mentality. I want to be out in the field and just work with my hands. So I stuck with the pool industry. And then around 2011, I decided I no longer want to work for somebody. So I started Relax Pools. And we were still, that first several years, we were subcontractors. So we still, in a sense, worked for somebody, but
Right.
it was,
But you had a team, a crew.
yeah, it was
Right.
my employees, but we were subbing other companies' pools. They were selling, and we weren't pushing Relax brands. So in 2017, we were established enough. I had enough rental property because I started to buy rental property myself. I was like, I can completely do this without, well, let's say we don't sell a pool or a couple pools a year. I'm financially okay to keep this going. So we just took the leap of no longer doing any subcontractor work and started selling our own pools. And we have like consistently grown ever since. I started with one employee and now we're up to 24. Um,
Nice.
yeah, that first year we did, I want to say 4 pools. And then like the next year was 7. And then last year we did 32 pools.
Wow.
Wow.
We're shooting for 35, 40. It's honestly not really a number for me. Like it's not, some people get worked up over the number of
Look,
like, oh, how many pools you
no,
can
we've
build.
talked about
But
this
yeah,
before. It's about quality.
yeah,
So you like to, right,
quality over quantity.
right.
Uh, but there's still like, even though I say that, there's still like inside of me, it's like, oh yes, I want to be a
I
little
want
bit
to see
bigger
that
than
number.
last
Just
year.
bump it
Yeah,
up.
I don't want to
Yeah.
see it
Forget
dip
about
down.
quality.
There's always that little part of you that
Right.
gets in that
Yeah.
digit.
Yeah. But I consistently want to grow. I've always had this mentality where like some companies ride the wave of the economy.
Right.
Like when the economy's great, they're sky high, but then when the economy tanks, they start to tank.
Mm-hmm.
I rather have this mentality just slow and steady, like a tank, slow and steady and just continuously growing. I want our quality to dictate our growth, and through our quality, we can build a better reputation and thus have a better uh, audience out there to see us
Sure.
from our
Yeah.
reputation, and then that itself grows itself. It grows
So I'm sure you get, there's Now you don't just install the pool though. You come back, you provide additional services as
Yep.
far as,
Yep. So build, service. So we build vinyl and fiberglass pools.
okay,
The only pool that we don't do are shotcrete pools, which is your concrete pool type. It's just like a totally different setup, different
Right.
man hours needed, and we try to specialize in just a few offers, but make them really good. And then we do servicing. So we service all types of pools. Then we do weekly cleanings. So that's cleanings and chem checks. And then just last year, we opened up our retail store. So now we have brick and mortar.
nice.
So we have
Awesome.
Where's that located?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your store.
yeah, 162nd and Maple. Uh, it's right next to the Mercado and what's that? Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin'
Yeah.
Donuts.
We've been over to Mercado a couple of times. It's
Yeah.
a nice new little strip they've got going
Yeah,
there.
it is a nice strip. That building was vacant for like several years. I think it was vacant the whole time it was built. That little area that we're in. And I don't know why, because I love the way it looks, the way the ceilings are raised compared to the rest of the building. It just really pops from the street. And then for the pool industry, there is nothing on that side of town.
Nice.
Like there's some kind of centrally located. There's one in Gretna, one in Papillion, but there's nothing on the north side of town except for when you get really far up.
So what about that service and maintenance then? Is that consistently growing as well then too? I mean, that's a good portion.
Yeah, service
Nice.
has grown 50% this year.
Oh, wow.
In our pool openings, we did a massive marketing. We did a billboard and we did some mailers. We grew 50% in service. We grew the department 50%, and then we grew the amount of pool openings we're actually opening 50% too.
Wow.
So it's been pretty amazing.
That is
And
nice.
what can you attribute most of your return on that to? Are you doing a lot of, is it digital marketing, the physical mailers, word of
Reputate,
mouth?
right.
I mean, I think the mailers and the reputation have been reputation's always been like the predominant grower. Then the only reason we are doing marketing, we're not doing marketing for the service and build. We're doing it because of the brick and mortar. Because we have enough business. Like we always want more business, obviously, but we have enough business to sustain our build and service. But our retail store isn't currently sustainable with our current service market. So we wanted to get more people aware of the retail, and then the flyer by byproducts, the call for service too. So that was just an added benefit. But we're just wanting to try to get more traffic going into retail, because like for building service, like there's only an X number amount of work you can do, whereas retail, you can just have as much. I mean, to an extent, you can have more and more people come in, and we can still fulfill that. So we're trying to just get more people in the door.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you noticed any particular area of town that you've gotten busier in? Are you finding you're getting more business in the northwest because that's where your service and retail shop is, or are you kind of seeing it just
No,
a general?
It's general all around town. Yeah. I mean, I guess I haven't ran the data to figure out exact zip codes and all that, but it's pretty much all around town.
That's neat.
So what about other, obviously you have the pools, you install the pools, that type of thing. Do you have other complementary type products that you would, like, I don't know, hot tubs, or, I mean, does anybody look for additional things that they would?
Yep. So when we were opening up the retail store, we used to sell hot tubs, but we never really talked about them. It was just like our distributions line, because we didn't really have a nice streamlined process for that. But when we opened up a retail store, we knew we wanted to be in the hot tub sector. So I did a bunch of research on hot tubs that would make sense for our model. And we don't have a large retail store. It's 1,100 square feet. So we could really only accommodate one hot tub.
Okay.
And so I did a bunch of research, and Aspen Spas, it's out of St. Louis.
Okay.
Their business structure is build to suit. So you like, it's kind of a la carte. You choose this model, you choose these features, you choose this
Right.
skirting, and then they make it to suit. It's not
So
like
it fit with your model.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we don't have to inventory because we don't have the space to inventory. We don't have
Right.
the showroom to inventory. So it just fit
And then
really
it
well.
wouldn't be tailored anyway.
Yep.
So,
And
right.
it's St. Louis, so it's like the closest builder
Yeah.
or manufacturer
Sure.
of hot tubs close to our area. Uh, and then the tubs are honestly very attractive tubs.
Nice.
Some of these tubs are really outdated. They like look like they're 90s, like
Mhm.
shapes and stuff. This
That
one,
same bubbly shape.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
The-
Like me? I know. I gave myself with the 90s.
He
there.
didn't say 60s.
Right? No, the Aspen spas have really nice looking tubs. They have really nice lighting, full chromo lighting, where like some of these tubs just have one light and like the side of the pool or the spa, where these have multiple lights all throughout it. They just really are modern, clean looking tubs. They fit well with our branding. They fit well with our business structure. So it's a nice alignment with us.
Oh, how cool.
So I was thinking about this earlier. If I'm interested in putting a pool in my yard, what are some of the, I mean, I've got several questions here. I'm just going to throw them
Oh,
all
yeah,
at
I've
once.
got 10.
So is there a general size of my yard that I should have, X feet by X feet? And then if you come out and you visit with me, is there a ballpark number that I should have in my head? So what size should my yard be ballpark? What's a ballpark number I should think of for the project altogether? And then if I said, yes, boy, this would be great, I'd like to do it, from the day that you dig, how long would it take to have a pool?
Perfect. All right, so size of yard really doesn't matter. I can put a pool in any backyard. What matters is access to the backyard. So I need 8 to 9 feet of access to get back there.
Okay,
Last year we built a pool down in Dundee, where Dundees don't have big yards.
right.
We put a 10 by 20 pool in, which is pretty small for a pool. And their backyard was really small, but as long as we have
Okay.
access, it doesn't matter the size.
All right.
It just the size of your yard dictates the size of the pool. And I always recommend sizing the pool based off the size of the yard. You don't want to put this massive pool in this little dinky yard, and vice versa. You don't want to put this
Right,
little
right.
dinky pool in a large yard. I remember like 6 years ago, we put a 10 by 20 in this massive yard. And like I was advising them, let's go bigger, but they were just, that's all they wanted.
Yeah,
And to me, like, I'll build whatever the client wants.
right,
But to me, I just felt like it didn't fit right.
right,
But we did it because that's what they wanted.
right.
And then the second question was price. I would say our pools start at 85,000.
Mm-hmm.
Our average vinyl pool is anywhere from 100 to 120, and then fiberglass runs more expensive. Fiberglass is typically around 130 to 150.
Okay.
And that's not the project cost, that's the, right,
That's not the whole
cost.
backyard.
right.
So
Okay.
every builder does this a little bit different. Some builders just do the pool, and every sub you have to find yourself. Some builders do the whole backyard. I want to do what I'm good at,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to also provide like the complete pool package. To me, plumber, electrician, and the concrete decking is and obviously the pool is the complete pool package. But I also don't want to dilute our skill level by trying to tackle landscaping, trying to do the fencing and irrigation. So we've established relationships with other contractors to handle those aspects,
Right.
and then we take care of the pool and everything associated directly with the pool. I feel like that's the best process to make sure that our quality stays top tier, but then still make sure the homeowner's being taken care of, like not being like, okay, here's the shell of the pool, now you figure out everything else.
Right.
Yeah. And then what was the final timeline?
Yes.
Right.
Yep. I always say mentally plan 2 months for your backyard project. Some pools that are quick and easy, we can get done in like 3 weeks. Some pools that are with like no minimal landscaping. Some pools that have multiple concrete pours, water features, and then the landscaping has walls and a bunch of other features. I mean, you could be spending three plus months back there.
Okay.
So it's very subjective to the size of the pool.
So do you have an inventory of pools then, or is that another order process?
Pools are custom
Custom.
built. Yeah.
Custom built.
Yeah, every pool we do, I mean, we have like some panels. So on our vinyl side, we do steel wall construction.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have some of that in inventory, and then I have pump pads, all your plumbing, all that in inventory. But the actual liner, the bulk of the pool is all custom made for each pool, and then fiberglass that is custom made every time.
Okay.
So you choose from the model that they have, like from their molds. and then the color, but every pool that they make, you buy like they make it strictly from them.
Directly for
Yeah.
your project. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Does that open it up to a little bit more ability to personalize? Like if you want like a waiting area, or do you have like I know there's zero entry options, different depth options, different seating bench options. Are you able to accommodate different things
Yep.
like that?
Yeah, yes and no. Depends on the pool type. Vinyl, I can customize. There's some parameters I have to stick with, like certain step heights and all that. But like where you want the step, where you want a sun shelf, where you want benches, how deep you want the pool, I can customize all that. And then the liner options for it, I can customize. Uh, Fiberglass, there's the only thing you can really customize is the color, and that's just choosing from the 8 colors that they have. You can customize water features around it. You can customize playing basketball, volleyball, the decking. That's all customizable, but the shell itself you cannot customize because they're made from molds. And those molds cost several $100,000 to make, so they don't deviate from that really
Wow.
ever.
So let's say that you knew of someone that was willing to let you put up all your bells and whistles in their backyard. And so, I'm just kidding.
Like your backyard?
Okay. Um, so stepping away from that for a second, I have some other questions. Is being in a small business and growing like you have from 4 pools, upward of 40, what are some of the challenges, or what are some of the bigger challenges that you had? Is it the growth itself? Is it systems, processes, people, recruiting? I mean, what are some
Employee
of the
I mean,
retention,
all of the
all,
above?
all the above.
Right.
yeah.
At first, it was getting the people,
Hmm.
like the employees, because I wasn't established. So trying to get people to come to us
Sure.
was like you couldn't find, like at the time, I think they were great employees. But like looking back, they're not like top tier, but they're still, I mean, they're great people. Everybody that's been with the company has been great. But we're starting to get even better because now we're established and people, it's different of like trying to convince people to come
Well,
work with us.
because maybe
Now people are like genuinely wanting to come work
that's what I was
with
going
us.
to say, because maybe now, because with your evolution, now it's more of a career, or people see
Correct.
that, right.
Correct.
It's not like
A summer
Yeah,
I'm
job.
going to
and
do this for the summer. Because I mean, they stay busy year round though, right?
To an extent, like
Right.
we employ everybody year round. If it's a seasonal business, but we allow them to work year round if they want to. We give them the option to do seasonal employment, and then all they have to do is file their unemployment, and we help them with that.
Right.
But if they need to or want to work year round, we will always find work for them. I always say it may not be pool related, it may be some random tasks,
Sure.
but we will always keep you busy,
Yeah,
keep
nice.
you employed.
That's
Because
fantastic.
I know people have mortgages, people have families, and I don't want to demand them to take seasonal employment.
I feel like employee retention is a huge hurdle for a lot of
Yeah,
businesses
yeah,
as well. So it's
100%.
great to hold on to those people while you
Right.
can.
Yeah, and we genuinely have a great team. Uh, I think the biggest improvement we've had is starting to operate on EOS. It's Entrepreneur's Operating System,
Okay.
made by Gino Wickham. There's this whole, he wrote a book called Traction, and it talks about his process. And so essentially, it's a variety of things. You have scorecards. So scorecards are your KPIs, your metrics that you hold everybody accountable to. You have your VTO, your Vision Traction Organizer. So within that, you have an accountability chart. So our company has an accountability chart where everybody has a spot in it, and you can have multiple spots per person, but you can't have multiple people per spot. So I can't have two build managers, because if you have 2 people in the same spot, how do you hold them accountable? So you can only have one person per spot. But I can have, like for me right now, I'm the owner, which is called visionary in his model. And then I'm also sales manager, so I manage all the pool sales. And then currently we had to part ways with our service manager, so now I'm service manager. So I'm holding 3 spots in the company, which is very hectic for me. But it's having this structure has been really very beneficial. So we have that. We have our 1 year goal, our 10-year target. So that's the VTO, and then just like our demographics and like who is our audience, and then the other parts of the company, our other parts of the structure is our rocks. So those are quarterly goals we set, and then within that we do milestones. So like tasks to get to our rocks. And then the biggest thing is IDS, so identify, discuss, and solve. Within that, anytime there's an issue in the company, we put it into our IDS board. And then weekly, our leadership team, which consists of me, our integrator, which is kind of like a general manager, then our build manager, service manager, who is me too, and our retail manager,
There's always a
Right.
lot of hats.
right? We sit in an L10, which is called a leadership 10. Like you want to vote at a level 10 meeting every time. Uh, and we go through our scorecard, we go through our to-dos, just our weekly to-dos, making sure we're getting them done. But the bulk of the meeting is to discuss IDS. So any issue, we bring it up in that meeting. So we identify what that issue is, like the root cause of that issue. We discuss it, and the final thing is actually solving it and implementing like the solution into place. That helps. That's helped tremendously to not consistently have the same problems. Because if you're not solving your problems, you're just repeating your problems, and then you're not going anywhere. Yeah. I've truly loved the L10 meetings, and I truly love EOS completely. And then the other thing is in our VTO, we have our core values. So I've had like internal core values that like I live by, but I've never articulated them.
Right.
So where now we've articulated our core values. The first one is customer service focused. So we put the customer at the heart of everything we do. The second one is building integrity. We want to make sure we're doing things ethical and right. The third one, you're putting me on the spot here. I should know my core values on the top of my head.
You could have ended it too. We didn't know.
Right,
We
no.
only have two.
No, always improving. We always want to be improving. We don't just want to be stagnant in our old ways. Then there's team spirit. Team spirit. We want to cultivate an environment where everybody actually enjoys working with each other. Because in the past, we've had like sour apples in the company that then just make it not fun
sure.
for everybody.
It's difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to where this year we've actually enacted a policy to where whenever we do a new hire, they have to get to know everybody for the first month, and after they're employed, but after the month we do a vote, and everybody votes on how they behave towards our core values, and then if we want to keep them or not. And if we don't get 80% retention or approval rating, we let them go.
They get voted off the
They
island.
get voted off the island.
Right.
Yeah, it's serious, like it's heavy stuff, but we just have a culture right now.
I was going to say, but you're building a club. Right.
Yeah.
And I would rather do less and have an amazing culture that we like do better for the customer
Right.
than to just
Absolutely.
just have a bunch of people that are doing a bunch of work, but everybody hates each other. Because that
Right.
just is not fun.
Well,
That's
and then they're
really-
not passionate about their job. and
Just-
Everybody hates each other.
All right. I've been around companies. I can think of one in particular. I show up on their job site and like everybody's cussing each other out and like it's super hostile. I've seen them throw hammers at each other.
Yeah.
And that's every time I've been on these particular companies' job site. I'm like, man, how do they operate like that? So I've never wanted. It just gives me anxiety
Yeah.
going on there.
No,
And I would never want to have that be my existence. So, I don't know. I'm really happy with where the company's at right now.
That's
I'm happy
great.
with where
That's
we're gonna go.
fantastic. Yeah, I love hearing because I feel like a lot of companies struggle with finding how to do systems integration and operations. I think we've seen that with quite a few, especially new entrepreneurs. So it's great once you find a system that works for you and your culture and your people, especially if you stick to it, you see that return and you are able to track those things. It sounds like you've got a great system for tracking KPIs, ROIs, things like that.
Yeah.
So have you made any changes personalized to your business model that have worked out for you?
Regarding EOS, no. Like they talk about going pure with EOS, where you don't change anything, and I truly believe in EOS, so I'm going pure. There's processes outside of EOS because EOS isn't the entire company. It's just a fact of how you run it. Like I'm actually really passionate about like business development and processes.
We can tell. I love it.
No.
I love seeing people like that.
Right? Monday.com has been super beneficial for us. Like we use it for everything management. So from the second we have a lot of applications, and my guys sometimes give me shit because I'm constantly like seeing new applications. But we use a form on our website to then whenever there's a new request, and that we try to direct every request to the website. So that's whether you want to build a new pool, whether you want your pool cleaned, whether you want a liner replacement, everything goes through the form. Try to. Some people are just against using the website form, so we don't want to like ostracize them for not wanting to do it. So we'll still receive the phone call, but we actually internally go to the website to fill out the form for them. And so it starts in the form, then it pushes it all to Monday, and we have separate boards by the service type that then we have different workflows per service type. And it just tracks it through there. Then it goes into job.
Now, this is cool because you see that again, we've known each other a few years now, but it's neat to see that evolution from the 4 pools to, tenfold, and how you're not just winging it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're
Pen and paper.
well, you're
somebody
building
calls, and I'm like,
right,
write it
and
down
you're
in the
building a
notebook.
I
foundation,
have
right?
seen big companies do that where they're like, well, I kind of track it on an Excel sheet. I'm like,
Right.
you did $1 million in sales this year and you're kind
Right.
of tracking it on
Yeah.
an Excel sheet.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
great. That's cool.
That's fantastic.
Before we start to get tight on time, but I wanted to ask you what, from a pool standpoint, what's popular right now? Salt pools or
I've seen it all, yeah, but I don't know.
do you
Is
do
that
that?
still
Is that something, or does that
trending,
have to?
Yeah, we do salt. It's like salt pools are still the most popular type of pool.
I'd never. I mean, I don't have a pool.
Yet. I always say yet.
Well, we're talking.
Just wait.
Do you do? I'd like one that's like 3 foot by 7 foot.
Oh, if it fits your backyard, if we have access, we can do it.
I thought you were going to say that's a tub. That'd be us there. You'd pull up with a tub.
Right.
And then 2 hours later, like it's in. But explain that, because I'd never, growing up, it was always,
Yeah, so salt's been around for a very long time. Ever since I've been in the industry. It's just still people think it's new. And the funny thing with salt, like people think, well, like they think there's chlorine pools and there's salt pools. And then when they're talking about salt, like I don't have any chlorine in my water.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you do. It's just the way the chlorine's being produced. Like on a traditional chlorine pool, you have a chlorinator with the 3-inch pucks into the chlorinator.
Okay.
And you shock it weekly. With a salt pool, you put a bunch of salt, like table salt, in your pool. Typical pool is like 15, 40-pound bags. And then the salt water goes through the salt cell that then through electrolysis, it produces the chlorine through the salt cell. So you still have a chlorine pool. It's just how your chlorine's being produced. And the benefits of it, it's easier to maintain. It's softer on your skin, and you don't have those wild fluctuations.
is it pricier to maintain?
Yeah. I mean, depending on the pool size, some people will actually say salt's cheaper. I think it's a lie. You have to buy the equipment, the salt cell up front. Right now it's like $3,000 for the equipment plus an install. Trichlor tabs, if you have a large pool, you could be spending $1,000 a
How often do you put the salt in it?
Salt never leaves your pool unless you drain your pool.
So it's the initial,
Yeah.
okay.
But like you have to drain your pool weekly to do a backwash of your filter. So you backwash your filter. You had a pool growing up.
I
didn't you?
did.
Yeah.
We had,
I
yeah,
remember that.
it
And a
was a
pony.
pretty deep one too. So it was an in-ground concrete that was about 14 feet deep. We went through a lot of chlorine. And so but I have so many questions. I mean, we have about 30 seconds left.
I know, we're gonna have,
But I'm
we're gonna
thinking
have
about
you
all the
back.
water parameters and all sorts of stuff. So we're
um,
definitely gonna have you back on.
Perfect.
We have a mutual friend who I think that has done some work for you, and we'd like to have him in too, to kind of talk about that complementary services and the groundkeeping, ground maintenance.
Yeah, landscaping.
Business partnership.
Landscaping, thank you. I was
That's
struggling
the
for that word. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Ground doings.
Okay,
But you
before we
won't be
get
back.
way off track.
But we will. We'll make sure, because we do. There's a ton more questions, but
Yeah.
again, the cool thing about it is that transition. I think that's where a lot of small businesses struggle. Is like you're wearing 3 or however many hats now, probably really wearing 10, but there was a day you wore 20.
Right.
So you took them off and then you put them back on, and that kind of thing. But no, we'd love to have you back, and I
Yeah.
think we'll see if we can.
Fantastic. So thanks again to our guest, Andrew Berscheid with Relax Pools and Spa. They also have their brick and mortar location on 162nd in Maple.
Yep.
And a
Fantastic.
website? What's your website?
Relaxpoolsomaha.com.
Relaxpoolsomaha.com. Okay, awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
All right, thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.